Hey, thanks, Robert. This is Annabelle Drum, and I am here with the top classical and crossover act in the world at the moment. They are topping the charts in Germany, UK, Brazil, Spain, Hong Kong, the USA, Japan, and here in Australia as well. They were the brainchild of Simon Cowell, have been running for 15 years now, wowing audiences in stadiums all over the place. They've sold more than 30 million albums and had 50 number one singles, and they've toured the world 4 times. I do want to welcome you, gentlemen. This is Il Divo.
Hello.
Hello, welcome back to Sydney. Now, it's been a while since you've been here. David, how long's it been since you've been in Sydney?
I think it's been, 6 years since the last time we came here touring? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it feels like forever.
Oh, well, we're so pleased you're back.
We're very happy to be back.
We have a very warm winter at the moment, but you're going to be touring in October, aren't you?
Absolutely, yeah. We're going to be here in October. Before October, we're going to be Japan, everywhere. But yeah, we are very happy to be here again, and then we're going to do a fantastic tour with this last album called Timeless. We're going to have beautiful dancers, a big orchestra on stage, and we're going to be interacting with the video, and the audience is going to be really, really great.
Sounds very good. Now, you guys have been in together for 15 years now, but you were put together. You weren't originally friends who put together a group. Sebastian, what is it that, apart from a fantastic professional attitude, what is it that held you guys together for 15 years?
That's a good question. Humor is, I guess, the number one. Passion for music. We're all very passionate musicians. So I guess that's kind of what keeps us going, wanted to do what's best for our band and what we're going to do, what we're going to present to our audience. And obviously what keeps us together also is the fans, that keep showing up and wants to hear our music, because without them we'll stay home.
Yeah, fair enough.
So we're pretty lucky to have loyal fans here in Australia.
Yes, they do love you here. And what is different about this particular album that you're promoting during this tour? Because this is your 8th studio album, I think?
Number 9, actually.
Number 9.
This album is very particular for us. We're especially proud of it because we've parted with the record company about 1.5 years ago, just because this relationship kind of had run its course.
So you've moved to Decca now, right?
Yeah, but it was even different because we actually recorded this album and administered and A&R'd it completely on our own. We were in a vacuum there. We did not have a record company. Decca came on board when the album was all finished and we struck a distribution deal with them. But everything you see and hear on this whole Timeless album and tour is directly from the 4 of us with 100% creative control. And that's just because after parting with the record company, we thought, you know what? There's nobody in the world that knows more about Il Divo than the 4 of us.
Yes.
So let's just carry on with this the way we think it should be. And to be honest, I'm very proud of what we've achieved. I think it's a fantastic album, and the tour, as Carlos mentioned, it's a very entertaining, very beautiful show, and I think people will enjoy it very much.
So when you started to be producing this now, what is it that you found was really different in the creative process of putting together the music?
I think the biggest difference is getting our heads around the structuring of the music. It's one thing to be the voices on it and to be kind of working as from an artistic mentality. It's a whole other thing to get into the structure of things, of getting into making decisions about who's going to make the arrangements, where on the scale of classical and pop do we want to have those arrangements. Each song is going to kind of call out for a different type of presentation. For example, when we sing Hola, and that has a much more electronic samples that go along and accompany with the orchestration versus Grazie Amore Mio, which is just full orchestra. And that's, each song calls for a different thing. So getting our heads around what's going to best serve the music and looking at it from that standpoint, from the standpoint of compiling an album that's going to have an ebb and flow and take our listeners on a journey.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's have a listen to one of the pieces from the album. I think the one you said, the Grazie Amore Mio, sounds like a really good place to start. So let's have a listen to that one. a song originally written for the 1970 movie Love Story, which had Ali McGraw and Ryan O'Neal in it, but translated into Italian, Grazie amore mio, and it's recorded on the fabulous album Timeless, which is by Il Divo, the group that I have with me in the studio at the moment. And that I noticed also is on number one on Amazon and iTunes, and so it's really going well. Just this week is really taking off.
It is, absolutely. I mean, we were really surprised. I mean, it has been a long time that we didn't see those number ones again, and yeah, everywhere. Even right now, also we just heard from Japan, we're number one. So yeah. An amazing experience. I mean, we're really proud, as Urs said. I mean, being the producer, that we have done absolutely everything, and suddenly you have the prize, the reward to be number one. That's amazing.
It's like you've spread your own wings now, right? Yeah, you're not relying on anybody else now. Tell me a bit about Japan. So you've got 10 concerts in Japan. Why is there 10 there? Are they absolutely crazy about you guys?
They really like us, yeah. I wish I could tell you what the secret behind the success of our band is. We often get asked the question. We've been going to Japan forever, and they seem to love what we do. And yeah, I don't have the straight answer to this question. I just know that we just
you have secret
keep adding
sauce.
Dates, and they keep selling them, and it's like wonderful, you know. But coming back here, we got 7 dates here in Australia, and hopefully we'll beat Japan pretty soon.
Oh, get some more in here. That sounds like a good idea. Yeah. And how is the live program changing now that you've done your own album? How do you think you're going to change your concert as well?
Well, it is actually for the first time that the whole new album is incorporated in the show. So you're going to hear all the 10 songs that we've recorded for Timeless. You're going to hear those live within the show. But of course, you're also going to hear all the all-time favorites of Il Divo, because all the people who've been listening to us for 15 years...
They would not tolerate you not singing them, right?
Exactly. They want to hear the Regress on
They
Me.
do.
They want to hear the My Way. They want to hear the Somewhere, and we're going to give that to them. But above all that, we have got solo numbers in there. Again, we've done that once before in Amor y Pasión 2 years ago, and it is a very positive thing. It gets shakes the whole program up very nicely, you know, gives a breather to each of us as well, you know. 3 of us go off stage and one sings a solo number, and it also gives us a
got more scope for expression, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. It's because each of us, we have chosen our own solo number in a very personal way, something that means something special to us, and when we interpret that and give that to the audience, it's a very special, a very personal moment.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Great. So this album is about lots of favourite songs from all around the decades, isn't it?
Yes.
So you have Charlie Chaplin's Smile in there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We in trying to figure out what we wanted to present in this moment of being self-producers, we were actually taking our cues from the comments that we've gotten from the fans, and one of the words that kept coming back was "your music is timeless." And we thought about that, and that kind of has Il Divo timeless. Okay, that's got a ring to it. So we thought, okay, well, let's just figure out what that even means. So looking back over kind of the amazing wealth of music to choose from, we thought, all right, well, let's turn timeless into about, you know, the different eras of music and what they all represent, and kind of going back to the beginning of recorded music, in terms of you know, going back to Charlie Chaplin in the 40s, unforgettable and popular music, unforgettable from the 40s and you know, 50s, 60s. So we all kind of did our own homework and created a list of like 5 to 10 songs
from each decade. Yeah.
And put those 4 pages on the table and said, all right, well, where are the commonalities? Any song in any decade that got 2 or 3 mentions immediately made the short list. And we just kind of whittled it down until we had those 10 songs. And the idea was to then take those songs and bring them into our musical universe, which is
put your stamp on it.
Put our stamp on
Yeah.
it. And in doing so, we realized that our musical universe has a lot of variation. It's not just, you start here, you end there. Putting it into different languages, trying out different languages to see which feel lends itself better to the expression of, and as I said before, how far on the spectrum do we go between orchestral and pop music, and just giving it an intrinsic timeless flavor, which it's not as easy as I make it sound, but yeah, it's I feel like we've been able to kind of show through this album that our style really is inclusive, as opposed to...
It probably showed that to you as well, didn't it? That you've all had this style that's been kind of fed to you at the beginning, and then you started to make it more your own and more your own and more your own, and now you're finally able to do it completely your own.
Absolutely.
That you can see, you can look back and see for yourself how it's grown.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So we've got this album, which everybody's going nuts for at the moment, buying like crazy, and it's #1 everywhere. And we've got you coming back here to Sydney on the 25th of October, and you're going to be in our new convention centre. It's only just recently been rebuilt. So it's fantastic, yes. That's in Darling Harbour on the 25th of October. And we've got 10 double passes to give away. Which is wonderful. It's so very generous. So for listeners who are interested to going along and seeing Il Divo, seeing these fabulous guys with all the songs from their new album, Timeless, give us a call on 9439 4777 and leave your name and your email address. You'll go into the draw at 10 a.m. and we'll be drawing 10 very lucky names who will be getting the double passes to go along and see the concert.
Yes.
Especially if they're ladies for Carlos. It's the single one.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
imagine.
There we go. Oh, they'll be lining up for you, Carlos, I'm sure.
Goodness, I can give something else if you want.
Always at the ready. Such a professional. Thank you, guys, for coming in. It's been wonderful having a chat to you.
Thanks for having us.
Lovely. Thanks.